Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Tip Tuesday live at 5. That's 5 in the Central Time Zone, and so delighted to be able to share with you here on Facebook in our group. It's working today, and also on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Ask David and Dana. So wherever you're listening in, whether it's live or on the replay, super excited to have you here and be able to share some wisdom about email. You've probably, if you're like me, gotten a ton of emails in the last 24 hours talking about what happened yesterday with Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. That's that conglomeration, and they all work together. And what about the apps that you have that you use Facebook to log into? You probably couldn't even access those apps yesterday. So I know the world almost felt like it was shutting down for a lot of people, but folks with email lists weren't worried because that's an asset that you have no matter what. That Facebook and platforms and algorithms and all of that, they cannot take that away from you. So I thought, I haven't talked about email lists for a little while, and it is something people are always curious about. We get so many emails, but that's because we subscribe to so many different great things out there, tools and strategies and people that we want to follow. But you have to set boundaries. You do. And you know how much time in the day that it takes you to look and read through your emails. And you have to decide how much time that is and set boundaries. And people tend not to do that and just have an overwhelming email list. Now, I know what I do for my own email list strategy, not only what I send out, but what comes in. And David has an entirely different one. He is so into emails and not into social media that he relies on his emails and his connections there. And I know a lot of people still do. And there's a wealth of information that we can get with emails and cool things you can do in your own email inbox to categorize things and to save them to certain folders, to mark them as important, to delete or to just archive for later. There's all these great ways. If I'm doing let's say a devotional on a Bible verse, I'll put that Bible verse in the search of my email inbox, and I'll get all of the emails that were ever sent to me that reference that Bible verse. So if I'm looking for a different perspective, that works beautifully. The same thing can go from, putting in a topic. If you're doing an article, for instance, you can put your topic in the subject line of your own email inbox, and all of the emails that have ever come to you with that sort of topic in them will populate. And this is particularly true if you're using Google products. I can't speak for any other email providers, but I'm certain there are searches similar as well. But that gives you the exact resources that you need at the time that you may want to do some research for your own article. So those are just a few little hacks I thought I would throw in. But what I wanted to talk about today was email strategies, where you're sending out emails to your audience. And that to me is a brilliant way of saving time. And you all know I am kind of that, productivity and spending time. I'm kind of that guru that doesn't want people wasting time because it's precious. That's my love language, quality time. And so the way I show love to everybody else is by trying to help you find ways to save time in your life and in your business. So when you're thinking of your own email strategy and reaching out to people that you've got on your list because they've given you their email, their contact information, whatever, and you've started a list, whether you've got one person on that list or thousands, it doesn't matter. Your emails go to everybody at once. So that is totally time saving because you're not having to individually email each person that you know. But one important thing you want to do straight away in thinking of your strategy, and this is number one, is to know the goal. What goal do you have in mind for sending out an email? You can do this on a case-by-case basis so that you know per email. But it's even wiser when you look at perhaps a week's worth of emails or a month's worth of emails, or maybe even the email series that follows somebody opting in for one of your great lead magnets. So there's all kinds of emails. You've got your broadcasts. Those are the ones that go out. I write one tonight, it goes out tomorrow. Or I could write it tonight and send it tonight. But a broadcast is something that you can send right away. Now, certainly you can schedule broadcasts, and that's certainly fine. But you can also pre-schedule 5 to 10 emails at one time in a series. But when you're doing those sort of things, you want to know, what is the goal? Are you trying to get someone to buy your product? Are you trying to give them great content? Are you trying to get them to opt in for some other program, for some other person you're promoting? So always know what the goal of your email is, whether it's a series or a broadcast. Number two, this is an important one because you may send out the best email in the whole world, but if your subject line sucks, nobody's going to open it. So number two is subject lines. Make sure you have catchy, eye-catching, enticing subject lines. And you can do that a number of different ways. First of all, if your audience is anything like you, think about what catches your attention. A lot of folks use questions, open-ended questions in their subject lines that you ask a question and you need to have that answer. And so you're going to open the email to get the answer. Another popular one with subject lines is to use numbers, lists. People love lists. They want to know how many things they need to do to get a result. So you're always going to couple together a number and a benefit so that you know you're giving them 3 tips to get what they want, right? So those are a couple examples of, subject lines that are captivating, and, some people do it to inspire. So what is it for you? And again, this will tie into your goal as well. These are all kind of related. So be careful with those subject lines. Make sure that they're very incentive oriented and create the curiosity that will cause somebody to open your email. Number 3, and I've got 5 today, but so number 3 is the use of templates and swipe. Be careful not to use that too much. You want your voice to shine through your emails. You want people to get to know you. If that is your goal, to be warming them up so that someday they're going to get out their credit card and buy, and that's a lot of what we do with our emails. That's a very common goal. Using someone else's templates or swipe copy, and those are things that are provided, especially if you are promoting for other business owners. And we do that a lot. So when I get swipe copy, and if you're not familiar with what swipe copy is, it's basically just giving you an example to use. And I've seen in my inbox the same email from 3 different people on the same day. They are all using swipe. That is the sample that's provided by the person that we're promoting. And technically you can copy paste and put it in your email, schedule, and be done. That is the beauty of Swipe. But how I teach and how I do it, being I'm a copywriter, I'm not necessarily always keen on what someone else has written. And first of all, if I read it and it doesn't sound like me or something that I would send, then I want to personalize it a little bit. So be careful with using Swipe and templates too. Templates a lot of times will give you fill in the blanks, and you want to be careful that your fill in the blank templates still sound like you. Number four is test those emails. And there's a couple things you can do depending on the email provider that you're using, your autoresponder. Some will allow an A/B test where you can send similar emails to your audience and test which one gets better results. You might do an A/B test on the subject line or on the first line where people can also still see that in their inbox. You might even switch up whether you use images in your email or not. So there are different things that you can do to test which emails are more effective. You also can test the time of day. You know, the question is out there, what's the best time of day to send email? Well, if your audience lives all in the same time zone and all have a job, let's say, and all have lunch at the same time, the lunch hour might be a beautiful time to send an email. People are checking their emails at lunch. Another beautiful time of day is first thing in the morning before people get out of bed. They grab their phone, they want to see what emails have come in overnight. But the problem with that is, chances are your audience is not all in the same town, in the same time zone, and whether you send it at different times of day, you've got to figure out what's the best time for your audience. And that is only something that you can do by checking your stats. So checking your stats is very important, number 4. And then number 5, here is our last and final tip for the day. And this one can be golden. And it's one that I wish I did more regularly because I love the results. And that is to resend to non-opens. So many people, including myself, you send out this beautiful email and a percentage of your list opens it the first time. Great. But what about the majority of your list that doesn't open it? Why not give them a second chance? And that's the idea of a resend. Your autoresponder should have a process to go through to pull up that email to identify the people who didn't open it and then resend it to them. You can change the subject line if you like to see if maybe it was the subject line that didn't appeal to them. You can, of course, change the time that you send it. Some people will send an early morning email so that that people get it first thing in the morning, at least in their time zone where you're sending it from. Let's say 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And then 11 o'clock at night that same day, they'll resend it to the people that didn't open it, because maybe that's a better time. Just, you have to understand what works best for your audience and test it to know the answer to that. Well, I don't know how many of you had any problems with being off the social media platforms yesterday, but it appears to all be working a little bit better today, which is good news. I was able to do the Facebook Live today here in the Online Business Builders group and over on our business page. I'd love to hear if you're building an email list or not. So if you in this comments just say building, and if you're struggling with what to say or what autoresponder to use or how to even get people on your email list, put need help down in the comments. because we have some other resources both on our blog and our YouTube channel that dive a little bit deeper into email marketing and strategies for doing that. And I'd welcome to have a conversation with you as well, just to see if we can tighten up some things, bring some clarity to what you're working on. So that's what I have for you today. I will look forward to seeing you all next week. Tip Tuesday live at 5, right here, same time, same place. So until then, be safe, be well, and be blessed.